Okay, everyone. I'm so glad to see a good crowd here on this beautiful Friday. I don't know what it's like where you guys are, but in Philadelphia right now, it is gorgeous out. And I can't say that very often. So I'm happy to be saying that. Um, okay. All right, let's get started. So there's still people joining, but that's okay. They will catch up with us. We are going to go ahead and dive right into it. So my name is Kelly Galloway. I am super glad that everyone could join us today. For those of you who don't know, or maybe this is your first time, Broker Connect is an interactive bi-weekly meeting with top brokers and ARIVE users where you can learn best practices, get insights into how other people are using the system, and just get a ton of tips. If you're wondering who is on my lap, this is my dog who is having a little bit of separation anxiety. So he's going to stay in my lap for a little bit. I'm here today with two awesome guests, the stars of the show, Craig and Phil. I am going to let them introduce themselves. I'm going to let them talk about their brokerage, and I'm super excited to have them here. But before I turn it over to those guys to introduce themselves, and before we open up the floor to your questions, I just have a few pieces of business to take care of. Okay. So if you didn't know, ARIVE offers a ton of weekly learning opportunities, and these are all completely free. We have an onboarding and Q&A session. This is offered every Tuesday. This is really step one of your ARIVE training if you're a new user. We also have 2 sessions of new user training every Wednesday, part 1 and part 2. This is very comprehensive, goes over a lot of details. So new users, make sure you're joining that. We also have Ask ARIVE with our product experts on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. This is where you can join, ask questions. Our product experts will screen share. It's a really underutilized session. We also have a special processor-specific training on Wednesdays. We have an AE training session offered once per month on the second Wednesday of the month. So the next is Valentine's Day, February 14th. So if you love your AEs, send them to this session. And if you just want them to be better versed on the system and really be better partners to you, this is where you can send them. Then we have ARIVE University. This is every other Friday. So when Broker Connect isn't happening, we have ARIVE University. And this is where you can learn about all of the updates and enhancements on the ARIVE platform from our CEO, Harish. And then, of course, we have this session, Broker Connect, every other Friday. And that was a lot of talking. So I'm going to end it here on the fact that you can sign up for all of these events on our website, arive.com/events. Okay, I'm done now. I'm going to get into the good stuff, the reason why we are all here. Craig and Phil, welcome. Thank you both so much for being here. Why don't you kick us off by introducing yourselves, talking a little bit about your brokerage, give us some background.
Go ahead, Craig. You're the president.
Some days I am. My name is Craig Messman. I am the president of Molitor Financial Group. I have been here since 2007. Our company's been open since 2005. We are based out of Chicago, and we really try and focus on customer service, that 5-star experience, just like everybody else does. And we really try and use our platforms and LOS and CRM to really help deliver that as well. So lucky to be here. Thank you for the invite, Kelly. And I'll turn it over to Phil.
Yeah, Phil Dodds, as loan officer at Molitor Financial Group. I'm based out of Iowa. Been in the broker world, or started in the broker world in 2021. And the first broker I worked for, I got to use ARIVE. And so was exposed to this great software platform. Worked for another retailer and had to use one of the worst LOS systems of all time. And, once you go ARIVE, you get ruined, and you're like that. Nothing ever measures up. So, happy to be here to talk about why we love the platform and answer any questions you guys might have. And I've been in mortgages since 2007. So been around the block.
Nice. Love that. Well, we are happy to ruin you. Sorry, not. All right, so let's get into it. So as I mentioned, this is an interactive session. It does not work one way, right? We want you guys to ask questions. We want you to take yourselves off of mute, join into the conversation. If your microphone is not working, or maybe you just don't feel super comfortable, you can drop your question in the chat here, but we do want to get the conversation rolling. So who can start us off with a question for Phil and Craig? They obviously are a wealth of knowledge here, so want to make sure we take advantage of their time.
I will, if it's okay.
Yes,
For it.
love it.
So I'm a broker owner and I've had ARIVE probably for almost a year, and I'm really just getting to use it more than the basics. And so one of the areas that I faced some challenges with today was with the MCR report. So I've had to go in, and it seems like kind of manipulate some of the dates, like the app intake date when I first start the loan and ARIVE seems to be picking up on the MCR report as the TRID application date. And then also when I ran the MCR report just a few minutes ago, it was pulling up the full loan amount for my government loans and not the base loan amount, which we have to report. So is there a workaround that?
That's probably more of a technical setup issue, I would assume, right, Kelly?
Well, I checked with I'm sorry to interrupt. I checked with the help desk when I saw it was pulling up my full loan amounts, and through the help chat, the person indicated that that's how it was set up. So I guess as a broker owner, is anybody else facing that challenge, or do y'all not use the MCR reports? I guess for anybody who does use the MCR reports in ARIVE, I guess may have an answer.
I'm curious, what are you using the MCR reports for? Just like follow-up
reports.
calls and just staying in front of your
No, to
pipeline?
file with NMLS.
Yeah,
Actually,
the call reports.
The call reports. I'm sorry, I said MCR, but it's the call reports, different verbiage. Yeah, the call reports. So the call reports are, I was hoping to get everything set up accurately so I didn't have to take several hours manually, like I have been. So I guess I was just looking for some input from other people who might be using them.
I would check with technical again, maybe set up a screen share and see exactly. I haven't had any problems like that, so it's hard for me to tell you exactly what the answer is to that, because I don't know exactly how you have your internal setup. You know, I understand that the data is pulling from the correct fields and that kind of stuff. I don't understand why the dates are pulling in incorrectly. I don't understand why the loan amounts are pulling in incorrectly on your side. So I would definitely do like a screen share and just double check that to make sure that there's not a glitch in your system or some technical issue that you're experiencing personally. That's just my two cents.
I guess that's what I needed, was confirmation that they're accurate for some people. They're just not accurate for me. So through the help chat, he said he put in a ticket for me with that question. So I'm sure I'll get an answer at some point. It is there, and that might be a Kelly question, can I go, like if I don't get an adequate response soon, since the call reports are due soon, is there someone else where else I can go besides that chat to maybe set up that cheap screen share or have it? Because obviously mine's not running the way yours is, if yours is accurate.
Yeah, I haven't had any issues, so maybe mine are inaccurate and I'm not paying attention to it, but hopefully not. Obviously, we know that call reports are due and they're very important, especially when it comes to audits and everything else, but I haven't had any issues, so I do apologize for that.
No, I'm glad for you.
Hey, Susan, this is Suzanne. Sorry. This is Lorinda with ARIVE. I'm going to shoot you a message in the chat with my email. If you don't get an answer, just email me, and I can kind of walk you through steps on the call report, best practices, like, okay, print your Excel sheet, compare it to what's on the call report sheet, just to make sure all your loans are correct before you to compare them. So I'm going to shoot you a message in the chat right now.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I've double checked them.
No, great question though. Great question. I know as a broker owner, that's a very important piece to running a successful business. And obviously I completely understand, the pain of what you're going through sometimes, especially when the data's not pulling over correctly. So great question. So,
Thank you.
so best practices as far as as a ARIVE goes, I mean, the biggest thing that I would say is there's 3 features that are underutilized. Rate watch, the search feature, and also custom templates for milestone updates. Those are the 3 things that if I could emphasize everybody implement, those are the 3 things that I would. Rate watch is amazing because you can set up the interest rate at a very specific amount. And on top of that, you can set it up to where, you know, once it hits this rate and a credit of X, it'll send out a notification. The search feature, I love it because I'm based out of Chicago. And so we have condos. So for me to go in there and type up an address for a condominium association, I can look that up and say, hey, is this one approved? Is it not approved? Did we run into issues? Did we not run into issues? Was it non-warrantable? Was it not? And then the last one is the custom templates for milestones. If you have not taken the time to update those to the way that you speak and the way that your processes are, you're doing a complete disservice and not using the system correctly, because milestone updates, I love them. I live by them. Clients love them. You have the email, you have the text feature. Like, you can use that with everything, even your CRM as well. I mean, it's just a great tool to have. You know, a lot of the milestone updates that we had in the past, you know, I used to use a couple other CRMs, and, you know, as it goes, it's a snake, right? It goes LOS, CRM, notification being sent. Well, here I can dedicate one specific system to milestones. And then I have my CRM working on the lead management and the communication follow-up after the closing. And so that's taking out one step of the communication, and it's real time. I can delineate who the milestones go to. And if you haven't taken the time to really dial that in, I would highly encourage you to do so, along with the search feature, as well as the rate watch. But going back to the search feature as well, you can talk to you can look up your agents in there. You can see which files that they've sent you, what those statuses are. And then you can go look at all your other ones and then pull the reports for them. And so it's a great feature to have. And if you're not utilizing all the system capabilities, like I can name at least 5 platforms that I've been on, and this has been the best one. And that's not a paid advertisement, by the way. But those are the 3 things that I would say. Phil, did I take any of your thunder away?
Nope. I just saw a question in the chat. They're asking which milestones we use. We have a custom set of milestones that we use for the entire company. And so I don't know if that was the question specifically, or which ones are we enabling on each file. Maybe that was the question.
What are you enabling?
Yeah, so I would say we do obviously pre-approved, we do disclose, submitted to underwriting, approved with conditions, resubmittal, clear to close.
I do docs out, and then we have internal ones for like loan funded all the way to adverse.
Yeah, but that doesn't go to the customer or the real estate agent.
Are you doing real estate agent appraisals and things like that?
So
Yes.
we're keeping the buyer's agent and the seller's agent involved on all those too. It's just
On the
another
loan trackers. Yep.
Yeah, that's just always another touch point, and it's just so automatic, which is awesome. Like that's like a CRM. I mean, that's a CRM portion of your LOS software. Like, it's integrated, which is huge.
Did you have to customize a lot of them, or were they pretty adequate?
I will tell you, I was at a different broker previously, and we did not have them customized, and we used the ARIVE ones, and only thing we updated was like the subject line. So instead of having it say like loan number such and such and making it look all kind of just technical, we just updated the subject line, but everything in the email stayed the same, and it's perfectly fine. Like, these agents just love being updated and staying, being in contact with, because 90% of your competition, they're having to chase down and call the loan officer to figure out what the heck's going on with the deal. So
the adjustments you've now made to the default, has it been a lot or just a little bit of a tweaking to the body of the email?
So I basically took the initiative to rewrite every single milestone update, including like initial, sending out the initial link for the application, even my pre-approval letters, all of it has been customized. So that way it speaks like I do. And, it took me probably a good couple hours to invest in that because I wanted it to be very specific, very granular, very detailed, but in a manner that came across as the client would understand it and have a 5-star experience. And so it did take a little bit of time to do it, but it was worth it, in my opinion, to invest in that because that's your number one point of contact for files, once they go into, disclosures all the way to clear to close. And so I wanted to really invest time, energy, and effort into that to make sure that it was done the right way. But however, there are a lot of people that use the ones that are currently in the system and they don't have any problems either. So a lot of it just depends on how far do you want to take it? How far do you want to push the system? How far do you want to do everything? Because the system has limitless opportunities. It really just comes down to the user and, what they want that client experience to be and want that communication to be. Phil?
yeah, and
What
it's not like
realtor
you're
alerts? I'm sorry, what realtor alerts are you shooting out to them?
I wish there was.
said
Hey, Kelly, can I share my screen?
there you go. That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, if you'd like to share your screen, just make sure there's no sensitive information.
Yeah.
please.
Of course. So give me a second.
And just to add on editing those, it's not like you're having to build it from scratch. You're just going in and just taking the idea and changing the words around just so it fits your language, right? And
Right.
maybe instead of having just your logo pop up on the email, maybe each email you want it to say something different, so you can go in and make, like a Canva graphic that says pre-approved or submitted to underwriting or woohoo, congratulations. If you want on approved with conditions, you just make a little Canva graphic and you can upload that into the logo spot on that specific template. And then it's very customized. And when those emails come out, it allows you to communicate your brand more, right? And so then there's a little bit more of intentionality there. And I think that it kind of takes it to that next level.
Have you
But
all
it's
done it on
not
a
like where
company
you're
level or individual level?
Both.
what's that?
Have you done it
Yep.
on a company level or individual level?
Both,
Both.
yeah. So like Craig is the president and he can go out and edit all of the milestones for the company, but then I'm able to go in as a user setting and I can edit them even more down to whatever I want it to look like as a loan officer or as a branch and be very, very customized and very, very specific with it.
So
Yeah, I'm
here real
definitely
quick,
curious what you
David,
guys are sending to the realtor, like to the borrower and to the realtor.
I'll give you a quick example of the things that I share real quick. So these are all my triggers right here. So here's a good example of one. Let me move this.
If you click the reticle, you can get a preview.
Oh, I always just do this part. So
So
here's an example of my submitted to underwriting. It just kind of gives them a nice little sit back, relax. We'll take it from here. So that's an example of some of the milestone updates that I do there. As far as like the, appraisal goes, things like that, you can adjust them to however you want. This is just a courtesy to inform you has been ordered. So I really just try and do as many touch points as I can, even my initial application. You can see exactly how I have everything. I even have the opt out and do not call link in there. So that way then, it helps with preventing trigger leads and stuff. So I've really tried to make this as granular as possible for people, just so they have that 5-star experience. But it takes a little bit of time to do that. But at the same point in time, if you do it the right way, you build it out and you think about your steps, how your company was built out, how you want that file to go from app intake all the way to close, then it'll help you out with what type of content that you need. And Phil, obviously he does a really good job as well.